The first night that I ever performed, and Alex was my teacher. Alex told me how to do it. Basically, he said, use cerebral palsy as your gimmick and pay attention to what's happening in the news so that it's not all about you. So you can bring other people into your world. And those were basically my instructions. And at the time, Anita Bryant was big in the news. So I thought, oh, Anita Bryant everywhere. I gotta bring her into this act. So the first joke I ever told, ever, I went up to the microphone and you could hear a pin drop, by the way. Because, first of all, Danny never told the MC I was a woman. And when you think of Geri, some people automatically assume it's a man. So he introduced me that night saying, we want to welcome this next dynamic comedian. He drove all the way from Orange County. Let's give him a big hand, Geri Jewell. And I walked on stage and like I said, it was so quiet. I mean, most comedians have to fight for that silence so they can do something with it. I never had to fight for it. It was right there. And I was hearing impaired, and even I could hear the murmurs, like, oh my God, it's a man. Oh, and he's really fucked up. But I was so nervous, I was just concentrating on my lines and what Alex told me, not paying attention to any of that, not even correcting, excuse me, but I'm a woman. Because I have these lines. So I went to the microphone and I said, I'm not sure about you people, but I've heard an awful lot about the gays that have been coming out of the closet lately. My very first line. And then it was really quiet. But what you haven't heard about are all the cerebral palsy people that have been coming out of the closet. But don't tell anybody. This is a secret between me and you. I don't want anybody to know I have this. You know, I especially don't want Anita Bryant to know. Because Anita will get on another bandwagon and she'll travel all over the country and say, we must put a stop to these cerebral palsy people teaching in our public schools. They will influence our children, and before you know it, all our children will be moving like this. That was my opening line. And looking back on it, I don't know where I had the guts to say what I did. I think it was out of sheer naivete. It was just following instructions, getting something popular out of the paper, bringing CP and making them laugh. I had no idea the nerves I was touching, the issues that I was touching. I had no idea. So, you know, there was a newspaper that interviewed me early on, probably in 1980, and they said how courageous it was that I was able to do stand-up comedy. And I corrected the reporter then. I said, I don't think it was that courageous. I think it was the fact that I was failing algebra. And I honestly believe that my success is in part due to the theory of the bumblebee. Technically, the bumblebee cannot fly because its body weight is too heavy. But you see, the bumblebee doesn't know this. So it goes ahead and flies anyway. And I truly believe that applies to me. Because had I known all the obstacles that were in my path and how difficult of a journey it was going to be for me, and how much growing and evolving I needed to do as a human being, I don't know that I would have taken that on. It was best that I didn't see it, that I just focused on what I could do, what I believed I could do, and the later part of it would fall into place when spiritually I was ready to know about it. That's what I believe.